Hey guys, welcome to the daily analysis for today. It's October 18th, and you can see right now I have the USD Yen chart up, which is still going from that breakout we talked about a few days ago. So that was a great trade. We're still in it and making money on that one. So an awesome trade with that USD Yen breakout. And that's it for the daily analysis today. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Let's go ahead and cover our news for tomorrow. Alright guys, so for tomorrow, you can see that we have a few red tagged events, not a ton, but there is core CPI for the Canadian dollar, which we'll keep an eye on, and then of course existing home sales for the United States dollar. And as we know, the home sales last time around was extremely positive for the US dollar, so we're going to have to see if that follows up or if we get a different story based on the US dollar news. Certainly want to keep an eye on that. And guys, these are the terms which just say that we're not licensed or qualified to provide investment advice, and that you should not take what we're saying here as a reason to risk your own money. Actually, that's not all they say, but that's the basic point. And if you want to read through everything that they say, go ahead and pause the video and do that. But I am ready to get into some seriously awesome analysis. And so like I said, the first thing we have here is the US yen on this breakout, which has definitely moved up nicely and looking like it's going to continue. Now, one thing that we have right here is at the very top of this level is just sitting right on there, which is making me a little nervous as far as our US dollar yen longs are concerned, but I'm still thinking very large targets on the USD yen. So we might need to let it chop around a little bit, do some of this action before it goes up, but I'm still confident that we have some long-term potential. If you want to get really crazy, we could say that we have 84 potential in the USD yen, and I'm feeling pretty crazy. So we'll see what happens here, but I'm thinking that the US yen definitely has some long-term trade potential. This is a pretty serious breakout. The US dollar is getting good news, and the yen doesn't really have a great reason to be super strong right now. So things are lining up for this to be a pretty long-term profit potential trade, and that's exactly what I'm expecting. So I'm sure there's going to be some difficult trade management issues with the US yen whipping back and forth. It might come all the way down to test this level, which would get us out of the trade, but then it might go right up and we have to get back in the trade. So there's going to be some interesting things, I'm sure. But if price is going up, if it's going to get back up into this range way up here, we're going to be on board for it, and that's just how that is going to be. So we're looking for USD yen longs and trying to stay on board as it moves up, and we just got to be careful and wise with our trading. That's about all you can do. We're in a good trade, and it's just about managing it as best we possibly can. Alright guys, next I just want to quickly touch on the euro dollar. We broke up here, didn't get quite to our horizontal level here, it's just kind of sitting with a small bar today. So not really looking like a major reversal at this point, but obviously price does not want to shoot up much higher than this little zone here that we're in. So it's going to be a matter of time before it either breaks up or reverses back down. But right now it looks like it just kind of wants to hang out in the middle range there, which is not really very appealing for me as a trader. So that's why I'm kind of looking at some other pairs. So the euro dollar, again, it's just not much to say there. It's just hanging out in that zone, and it's not making a real definite move toward one side of the market or the other. All right, let's check out AUD dollar. So on the AUD, we have this middle level of this wedge that we're in, which we talked about, bouncing strong off that. Again, today's bar, a little bit of a stall bar. It is up near some other resistance that's all up in this zone. That's kind of pushing price back down, but obviously not a strong level. So as far as I'm concerned, this power bullish bar here is still pushing AUD up, and it looks like across the, a lot of the other pairs that AUD is gaining a little bit of strength as well. So I don't think that there's a lot of long-term AUD strength right now. But I still find validity in this maybe coming all the way up to touch the horizontal zone that's up here. I think that's still a very legitimate possibility with AUD, and so I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm not in that trade. I'm not long on the AUD, but as far as forecasting aside, I'm thinking that this has more potential to get up here before making a bounce to the downside than it does to reverse right in the middle. That's just my sentiment on the AUD. Alright, and then one of my favorite pairs to trade recently is the Euro Pound, and like we said, as soon as it bounced off here, I said, this is looking like a real trend, and we think it's probably going to make a higher high based on just the way that it's moving up right now. So if you draw a horizontal line here, we have made a higher high, which is great. I'm long on the Euro Pound and making money on that one, so that's good. And if it goes up to touch all the way up to this trend line, we could be talking about a much higher high, all the way up in here, in fact, which would be great. So hopefully this is going to continue. A little tail came down and just bounced right off the top level here and then pushed up higher. Everything's looking very technically sound on the euro pound long. Might be a little late to jump in long now because we're up 3 bars in a row on the euro pound, but nonetheless, I'm thinking like this thing really wants to get all the way up and make a higher high that goes along with this kind of spreading wedge. So that's what I'm anticipating. I'm still thinking a much longer term target than what it's at right now. It's not up all that big yet, but I'm thinking that there's some serious potential for it to get up into that 82.20 area. So that is the euro pound. Another one we have is the EURAUD, and you can see that it's coming right back down off this trend line, so could get some upward pressure tomorrow if it continues to respect this little trend line, which is not a very solid trend line. It's only touched a few places here, but nonetheless it is intact at this point. And so this little channel, which is a very steep channel to the upside, you can kind of see what I'm looking at here, is kind of drawing price this direction. If you draw a parallel line up into this area, and so I'm still thinking that EUROAUD has a lot of potential to get up in this area, and that's that's what I'm anticipating. I'm long on the EUROAUD as well, or well, we're long on the copier, long on the EUROAUD with a very, very small position, just making sure that we have a long position in case it takes off without us. We're actually looking to add a larger position if we get some momentum in our favor. So we're long on the EUROAUD. That's kind of a position that's just a holding position, not a big position. Actually, we can't even lose very much even if it crashes through a stop loss. But anyway, so the EUROAUD we still have long potential on, in our opinion, even though we've seen 2 bearish days in a row. It's not really deterring me from my sentiment there. Okay, let's check out a few more pairs here. Here's the USD Swiss, which we talked about this breakout, similar to the US Yen, except for obviously in the other direction. Today, a little bullish bar. If I zoom in here a little bit, you can see that we had a little bit of bullish action today. Not a strong bar, but enough to make you a little nervous if you're short. So keep an eye on this. Obviously, if you took this on the break, you should still be up pretty decent on it. And again, I'm looking for a 600 pip target on this one. And so obviously, if I want to hit that target, it's going to take a lot of patience. And a little bar like this better not scare me off if I'm thinking about 600 pips. So that's kind of my mentality on the US dollar Swiss. It's just about patience and kind of holding on as far as I'm concerned. Here's a pair we haven't touched on in a while. This will be my last pair for today. It's the pound New Zealand. We used to talk about it quite often, but since it's kind of been in this chop zone, this little area here basically, I have not really been too interested in trading it. Now, we did take a long recently off these tails here because they were pushing, and we just took it up to the top of this channel and then got out. But as far as the long-term potential, there's not a whole lot going on right now until it breaks out of this little, triangle, or excuse me, rectangle that we're in right now. It's looking like it wants to push back to the bottom of this, this channel right now. And of course, if it bounces, we could get, push back up and trade to the top of the channel because, this is a few hundred pips here. Whoops. It's 350 pips between this channel, so still a lot of movement there. But, if you're trading the pound New Zealand, you want some of the long swings, like from here to here, over 1,000 pips. So I just wanted to show that to you. I know we used to look at pound New Zealand almost every day when it was moving like this, like when it was making these kind of swings back and forth. We were looking every day, but now that it's been choppy, I haven't paid as much attention to it in the daily analysis. So I just wanted to bring that back and show you that real quickly. Alrighty, guys, that's about it for the daily analysis. I will catch up with you tomorrow when we cover our weekly charts. And until then, have a great day.